Comes out of the water. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Project Cat. Now, if you watched the last video, you'll know that I ran into some problems with the engine on this thing and had a constant stream of hydraulic leaks. Engine was bogging down as well, and just wasn't really sure whether I should carry on with the project or just throw in the towel. Some great comments, some fantastic suggestions back from you guys. Thank you so much. You really gave me that little kick I needed to continue on with it. So I'm down here today. We're going to check out that engine and see if we can salvage it. If you haven't watched the previous video, I found that the engine oil was really badly contaminated with water. The oil level was way above where it should have been. Didn't appear to be coolant, just pure condensation, possibly from sitting. So we'll find that out shortly now when I start to drop it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like the videos and please leave a comment below. Really appreciate it. Might not have that many subscribers, but have some, I must say, I'm very lucky. I've got some really loyal subscribers. Always throw a comment. Even if you just come along and say hello, it's always much appreciated. So, won't hold you any longer. Let's get on with it. By the way, if you haven't seen the previous videos or any of the other projects, just go to the channel page there, you'll find them all. And there's some more videos coming up hopefully within the next couple of days, working on some existing projects like the Dexter. We're moving that along, and the Range Rover is going into the next phase, plus we've got some new projects starting, so make sure you stick around. Still in level 5 lockdown here now. We are allowed to move within the county, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get a bit more about soon. Looking at some new projects, I'm hoping to buy in some new stuff that I think you'll really like. So stick around and bring that to you as soon as I can. So let's get going. Yeah, that is actually happening. It's so thick it's having difficulty coming down through the funnel. So, there's the water came out of the sump. This goo is presumably oil. Drank 25 litres out of that, and I think that the sunk capacity of this thing is about 15 litres. So, yeah. Okay, so rocker gear, I've cleaned it as best I can just with a rag and a nail brush. Just made sure critically that these little oil bays are free. So I've drained as much sludge as I can out of the bottom end now. I'm going to dunk a little kerosene into her and we give her a little scrub, wash it down into the sump, wash out the sump, and then we'll stick the boroscope up there and see how the oil pickup's looking. Looks a lot better already. I'll run some, I think I got some 30 weight in the workshop. I'll run a little bit of that through after just to wash down any kerosene that's up here. We'll give it another oil change anyway shortly after we get her running. So. Replacement brake hose. I'll fit this up. Kind of waiting for that kerosene to drain down. So this is the last of the hose connections. Well, this time just fitted the ones that were burst. What a pain of a job. It was a real struggle, so I've been just kind of moving around the machine because I'm getting really sore being in the same position. So this is about the most comfort I've had all day, sitting in here. So I get this done up, run back to the workshop, get my torque wrench for the sump bolts, and also get the filter wrench. I get the oil filter off this engine. Okay, let's have a look inside the sump. Okay, so the oil strainer is right in there. Let's see if we can drop this sump. I think it's safer. Okay, in theory, the sump should now come out. Oh, let's give it a go. I hope I haven't missed a bolt. Missed a bolt. Okay, managed to get the sump out. So it actually doesn't look particularly bad up here, aside from the strainer, which I'll remove and clean. And I'll clean the sump. So, drop our oil strainer and we go and do some cleaning. So, there's our sump, our oil strainer. Oil strainer wasn't that bad, but I feel a lot more comfortable cleaning it up. Sump, on the other hand, full of gunge, and I think that crap that I washed out from the top of the engine ended up down here, but I don't think there's any metal in here. It's a good sign. So, power washer and stick her back on, fill her up with oil and see what happens. Okay, we have our absolutely spotlessly clean sump. Just been thoroughly steam cleaned, and our clean pickup pipe. So I was going to whip the filter out from under the machine. It's easier to do it with the sump off, and we will bolt this up, bolt in the oil pickup, bolt on the sump, and just fill the thing up with oil, fresh filter there, and get her fired up. So this is how, or what, the bottom of that Dietz engine looks like. Seems to have some kind of I assume they're bouncer shafts. Never seen bouncer shafts on an engine before. Never worked on one with them, but I think that must be it. Still a little bit of sludgy stuff up there, but that'll that can just go into the new oil and change the oil in it again soon. So that's what she looks like. Oil pump there, so I'll just refit the oil feed pipe in a second. Didn't manage to get the filter off. I'm gonna have to go home and get a filter wrench. Seem to have forgotten it. So we'll bolt on that pickup and bolt the sump back on. Then we can start filling her up with oil, change that filter, and connect an oil pressure gauge to it, and we'll fire her up. Not the most comfortable working environment in the world. Right. A lot of filter as well in there. Oh, come on. It's not easy. I've got these Sump nuts, all 26 of them done up, just hand tight. I'm going to start torquing them bit by bit in a minute, and get the new filter on, get her filled up with oil, get her going. Oh, more crud. There you go. Let's see what's in our oil filter. Okay, so that is the gungy mess that was our oil filter. Gonna let the oil filter housing dripping out of it, give it a clean, and fill and fit the new filter. I'll start filling that with oil now. Okay, I filled our new filter to the brim with oil, and oil the seal. Just going to put it under the machine. Ooh. So that's going to make a big difference on startup, having that oil there ready for the engine rather than not having to fill the filter. So I'm just going to put the camera down and install this. Alrighty, filter installed. Just need to tighten this sump plug and we'll fill the engine. Rather than just pouring the oil in the oil cap, I'm going to run it all over these rockers. I'm going to order the rock recovery gasket bed for this thing, by the way, because it is going to leak like a stuffed pig. I'll just sort it out. By the way, ignore the label on the can. Just use these to bring it from the barrel. It's 1540 going into this engine. A lot of fluids used in the making of this video. As you can see, something that you really need to take into consideration working a machine this size. Okay, so that's about it for today. So we've got the engine serviced, the oil service done, hydraulic tanks topped up, diesel tanks topped up. So I think our next thing now is to connect the oil pressure gauge and get her fired up. That's enough fun for one day. It's 6:25 now, and it is St. Patrick's Day. It's a bank holiday, so I guess I should probably go home and put my feet up. I'm sure there are plenty of people around the world celebrating St. Patrick's Day today, but unfortunately the Irish aren't amongst them, as we're still in the middle of a level 5 lockdown. So yeah, it's just like any other day, except I don't have to do the day job. So I'm going to catch up with this thing. It is now Wednesday. Going to try and get back with her Friday evening, see if we can get that engine fired. Okay, so next step is to sort out our parking brake valve, which the top has been snapped off of. Now, unfortunately, the only way to drop the valve is to split the entire valve assembly in two, and as soon as I do, it's gonna pour oil. But oh, I gotta put that O-ring to one side. So here's what the underside of that dips or that joystick arrangement looks like. Just going to put that there for a second and very carefully show you the opposite side. So I need to leave that exactly where it is now. Yeah, there are two indentations. They'll help me line it up again. I just want to make sure it goes back in the correct orientation, that I don't lose any of these springs. It's metal. Parking brake assembly is, just put that O-ring away. Oh, I think it's sitting on, I got it here. There we go. So, this is the parking brake lever. That collar obviously pushed up, but one day before I knew what it was, I was tried to operate it and snapped it. So I need to try and get this block out, disassemble it, probably end up removing this, and try and drill and tap it for another screw, or get something on there that we can release it. 'Cause every time we fire this machine, those brakes are pulling on the pump, making the machine harder to start, and any leaks we've had so far on the braking system. So we might pop a few fewer hoses if we can avoid pressure on there. So I need to get this thing operated so we can release the brakes and try and move it. Okay, that valve lock is finally off, and like everything else you touch in this machine, you're now losing more oil. Something to bear in mind if you ever decide to tackle a piece of abandoned equipment like this. Costs of fluids alone is just astronomical. You can just lose so much from a simple job, or a burst hose. Now, most of the oil that's gone into this thing so far, hydraulic oil, has actually been used hydraulic oil. They came out of very modern excavators that were serviced at their recommended intervals. Absolutely fine for what we're doing here. If I ever managed to get this thing leak free, I could always drop the oil and replace it with new oil and new filters. But as you can see yourself now, there was some new stuff went in this time as well. It's spotlessly clean, so perfect for what we want. So Just be careful not to lose the O-rings off the end of this. This is our problem here. So I'm just going to see, can I open this up and fix that? So, got the block of my useful little workbench. Get on these free at every Range Rover. I've just tapped the cylinder out of the block, and I can immediately see how that thing snapped. It's all crowded up in here. Looks like a bit of corrosion and things in there. Cleaned a lot of crap off that piston, so I'm going to clean up both the block and the piston, and then I need to try and get that threaded part out of there. See, can I get a new bolt into it and reassemble it, put it back in the machine. Okay, so I haven't really managed to fix the valve as such. Didn't have drill bits good enough to drill into that, and should have drilled it and just retapped it. But what I have managed to do is get it in the off position. I've also worked out that this thing on the side operates it. So if for some reason I've got it in the incorrect position, I can just move that from underneath with a screwdriver. So that's going to be enough to get us going. Going to bolt it back in here and stop the oil leak. Alright, valve assembly is back in place. Finally stopped the hydraulic leak. So I'm just going to bolt up the rest of the remains of this armrest, just so I can get the controls back up in the correct position. And we'll jump up in the back then and get the oil pressure gauge connected, so we're ready to fire up. Okay, so here's our oil pressure setup. So I've got an oil pressure gauge. There is the connection, and this was the oil sampling port on the side of the block. That's the adapter it threaded into. It's a mixture of connections, so got these two connections from a neighbour to join the two together, and just threw a little bit of bird crap at them, hold them together. So I'm just going to bolt that onto the block, and well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, I'm going to keep this with me, and the next day we come down here, we were ready to go. Okay, got our oil pressure gauge hooked up, we are ready to go. Okay, so we're up and running. We've got oil pressure. Sounds a lot better, and there's no smoke. The result. Totally different sounding engine. We're getting over 50 psi at idle, and all this nasty strain that was on that pump is gone. Sounds absolutely beautiful. Check the oil levels, there's no water mixing or anything going on at the moment. I think we're alright. I'll try a little bit of movement. I'm just going to move the Range Rover out of the way in case I lose control and hit it. Happy days! Okay, so she's able to pick the machine off the ground. Just going to extend the boom out again. And we'll see how we're doing for leaks. So that was all at idle. Engine's handling well. No smoke we're talking about. And oil pressure's looking good. Okay, so that's it for this video. Must say I'm really impressed with this machine today. I had a minor leak at the back that I didn't show you. It was the filter on the pilot line. I hadn't tightened it properly at some stage. Obviously, it has been weeping all along, so I nipped that up. But other than that, this is actually the first time I've run this machine and not burst the hose. So I decided to leave it here for today. Was hoping to drive it out of where it is, but I've got to address that blade in the back. The rams are disconnected at the moment, so I'm either going to drop the blade in position or take the rams off, repair them, put them back on, and I need to swing her around and change that tire that's out in the back. So I might even get back down here tomorrow and start going enough. But for the moment, that's it. I will hopefully be back to you within a week or two. I'd like to say a week with more on this project, but there'll be some videos coming in, the other stuff in the meantime. But certainly tomorrow I'm going to give this a couple of hours down here and see if I can make any more progress. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And as I said at the start of the video, thanks again to those of you who've subscribed, and thanks to those of you who are consistently commenting on my videos. Always much appreciated, even if it is just to say hello. It's always welcome, and with what's going on in the world at the moment, it's good to know that you guys are okay as well. So if you're one of the regulars especially, drop in, say hello, and speak to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys.